I was, at that stage, I was already rewriting. Because what I had had previous, although still relevant, was being changed quickly between March and the summer, because the invasion was in March, so we had these 5-month window where the war was in existence. And the play had to reflect that. So I was rewriting fast. We were putting the monologues together in a variety of order and seeing what worked. So it was a puzzle piece at that time. And Edinburgh got mounted, and we went to London, and the order was completely rechanged and mounted again.
Now, when you talk about we doing this, who are the other people involved in this?
I had a friend who was a producer. He was the one that had the connection with Edinburgh. So then we went in search of a director. And I had a director who's also a very good friend working with me in Edinburgh, or working with me far before Edinburgh. And then London came after that, and the artistic director of Bush wanted to rework the play, and we knew we were still in the process anyway, so that was great. We tried a completely new order. And then I came back to America and did it one more time in Queens with a different director, and completely reworking of the order. And that's when I just sort of realized that the track that I was on, with the help I was getting, was not the track I wanted to be on.
Okay, so this is the reproductions later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not productions with, all the bells and whistles, but productions nonetheless. In Edinburgh, 15 national press on my opening night, and I thought we were going to a little theater festival. that's the part I like. I'm like, oh good, we're going to a little theater festival, I'm just going to throw it up, see what sticks, this is no problem. We get there, we're at like the venue in a major theater festival, and I'm like, you told me this was a theater festival, like I'm thinking festival, I didn't know, and I was shocked, and I was horrified. Thank God we didn't sing, but I was shocked and horrified, anyway. I did learn a lot, but I wouldn't have wanted to learn it that way, and I wouldn't do it again. I mean, it's kamikaze, and as an actress, it's brutal. It's one way of doing it, but it's not for me. Anyway, so that's when I kind of said, I want to work on this differently. I wanted to work on it dramaturgically. And the Public was the first theater to really step up and say, make us your home. We'll help you. They were doing a reading festival, Reading Work Now festival, and they said, we'll do this. We'll do this as a reading, but use us as much as you want. Come in once a week. Rewrite, write, discuss. We'll just completely have a go at this, whatever you want. So it was my first time I really got to take it apart, talk about it with the dramaturgical words that I wanted to, my vocabulary. Not worrying about an ultimate production, but just getting at what was there on the page and where the holes were. And literally putting this puzzle together in an intuitive, spiritual journey. Because I wanted the audience to just experience something and not know, and not see the connect the dots. I wanted them to just meet this woman, then meet this other woman, then meet somebody, and then start to feel where it's spinning, and then get a huge emotional, okay, I've just been to the war and back, and then come through it with something. And what I had with the puzzle pieces, but that momentum hadn't been created. So now what I had was developing an act one and act two, even though it was a one-act play, where it breaks, where it builds, what happens, why, when America enters, when they're not in the picture, when the real war starts happening amongst the characters, when the language blows apart, and then what comes out after. So suddenly I was able to start getting at these things that were there, but just weren't as strong as they could be.
Weren't fully realized.
Yeah.
So in that process, you worked with people from the public, and how long did that process take?
That was a good 2 or 3 months, and I also had the exceptional help of an English director who was willing to fly over. and work on it with me. And she was somebody I had always wanted to work on it with, but due to lots of different things, I couldn't. So I think she and the public were also just an incredible part of that journey. And then the kind of next step was, after that, I felt confident. I felt that this is what I meant, and we're on to something. And then we got an offer to do it off-Broadway. And that offer was, it has to be up for the election. So this is all, it's every time I ever did it, it was a race against a clock or something. And the English director couldn't do it. And so she said, I think you should do it anyway. So then I'm like, I finally just found the this and the that, and it came together, and then, so I had this producer willing to mount it off Broadway, and we had to look for a director. And then that was incredible also, because the director I got, Joanna Settle, brought to it so many brilliant things, and then we shaped it yet again.
Yes.
And then we had a book that was mounted and now is. But interestingly enough, even that New York version changed again. That went up in 2004, and by the time I had done it with Joanna for 9 months off Broadway and at the Geffen and here and there, by the time we got to Arena, I did some rewrites, and now I'm done. So Arena was in 2006.
So 2003 to 2006?
Yes.
Is sort of the timeline from
Yes.
when you actually had something you thought you could work with as a monologue.
And it was up doing it.
Doing it. 3 years.
Yeah.
To where you finally got to, this is the
thing. And it was 3 years of doing it while changing it.
Yeah.
There wasn't, it changed in each production rather than I'm at home thinking changing. And the published play is just previous to that production. So there's 2 characters who were rewritten that aren't in the published play, so when it gets a reprinting, I'll be able to finally go to sleep. And say it's gone.
Well, I think that's very interesting. A couple of things that I also want to talk about are, number one, for that production in New York, the off-Broadway production, it was set,
It was
costumes,
there was
the whole 9 yards, right? So can you talk a little bit about how that all came into being? Because I'm sure you had tremendous input into that as well.
I did, but that was a serious life-changing moment because it was so exciting to have a room of designers and a brilliant director in the room coming up with ideas that I never had.
Yeah.
And I would get the chills, and they would show me this mock-up of the set, and I burst into tears. And I was like, oh, how did you think of that? It's so amazing. Because, I come in with my little dark photographs from Baghdad, and I can talk, I work like an actress. I walk in the room with a lot of raw material, but I'm not particular about what gets chosen. Whatever they want to pull out of that and make use of is great for me. But they were so brilliant what they came to. So the director just said, okay, everything you've been talking about is about this water and the cradle of civilization and this epic myth of the thing and the thing and the thing. She says, none of that is necessarily in the play as we know it, but I like it. It's not a desert, bombed out Baghdad like we all think. So we're going to put a river in the stage, and it's going to go like this. She said, you're going to be going up and down and over the river and constantly trying to get somewhere, and it's going to be an obstacle and it's going to be hard. And that's what it's like. And it's, and we're going to have these, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be layers of civilization. You're going to see mosaic and brick and mosque and bombed out and crack and a scaffolding and a river. And I was like, yes, And suddenly I had a river in the middle of the stage. Like, I knew I have water. We're going to get in it.
Was this ever something that you had pictured, having water on the stage?
No, I saw Metamorphosis and thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I saw that and went, why can't I be in the water? You know what I mean? But I didn't connect any dots. I just went, yay, But I was onto something